Hi there, I'm Beth of Bev's Bells, and today we're going to be doing a core-based floor or mat-only workout. It involves 4 exercises that you'll see here on the whiteboard as well as in the description below. I'll add them afterwards with a little bit of a description of what each exercise is. This video won't contain a warm-up. We've already done that, mobility and also with a light kettlebell. So I would strongly recommend you pause and do your warm-up first. You want to warm up not only for mobility, but also for the movement patterns so that you get those down, first of all, without weight, and then with a light weight so that you can prime your body for the work with a heavier weight. The reps for each of the 4 exercises will be just 5 on each side, and so it's not terribly, it's not a lot of reps, and you don't need necessarily a lot of reps, and you don't necessarily need heavy weight either. If you haven't done any of these exercises before, I would recommend that you just follow along with the body weight only version, or perhaps a very light hand weight, like a 5-pound, something like that. I've got some props here as well that I will be using just to demonstrate the different versions of some of the progressions or regressions of each of these exercises. So we'll start off with the first exercise, which is a half kneeling windmill. So hopefully you've warmed up your shoulders, your thoracic spine, your hips and knees, it'll also include your lats and your obliques. So just as a warm-up, I'll demonstrate what the exercise is. So you're in the half kneeling position. You want to make sure that your knee and your ankle are in line, and you need a nice wide stance. So you don't want it narrow where your knee is right in front. You want it nice and out to the side, because that gives you more ability to kick your hip out so that you can end up aiming for your elbow or forearm, aiming for the floor. So you're going to clean the bell up, press it up overhead, watching the bell at all times, making sure that the wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in line. You're going to internally or corkscrew the shoulder in as you reach towards the block if you'd like, or floor if you want to get that low, or just fingertips, and then externally rotate to come up. So breathing in to lower, go as far as you can comfortably, and breathing out to come up. In to lower, out to come up. And again, you don't have to go all the way to the ground. So that's your half kneeling windmill. Then we're going to do a seated V-leg. It's going to be using the lats, the obliques, definitely the TRA, the core center here. If you've got tight hamstrings, you might want to bend your knees and have your feet sort of flat, right? Excuse me. And the idea behind it is, I'll just demonstrate without weight. You're going to be up again overhead holding the bell, watching the bell at all times, and your forearm is going to meet the floor. So it's very similar in motion to the windmill. Breathing in to lower, breathing out to come up. Now, if you've got a lot more flexibility and core strength along your obliques and lats, and your scapular, because as you're internally rotating your shoulder, imagine that that shoulder blade is going down into the back pocket. The end result of this exercise is to slide down the leg so that your forearm is down on the mat or floor, and then sliding up using your obliques to pull yourself up. So breathing in, and breathing out. Oh, so I guess we lost the connection, but now we're back again. Okay, so, all right, so moving on from the seated V, overhead press and slide. And if you, again, are very tight in the hamstrings, I would bend the knees. And if you are limited in your thoracic spine mobility and you're not so strong in your core, just lower. So internally rotate the shoulder, lower that opposite forearm to the ground, watching the bell at all times. So seated plank rows, or side plank rows. I'll show you some variations. You can do it side plank on your hand, up elevated on your hand, or forearm. Forearm has a lot more stability because there's more surface, obviously. You can do it also on a wedge if you want. If you're up here on your forearm and you want a little bit more elevation so that you can do a better row. Keeping in mind when you're rowing that because your rib cage and your shoulder are connected, you want to make sure that you're not jutting that shoulder forwards and backwards. You want a row that involves the rib cage and the shoulder acting as one unit. So I'll demonstrate it first on my hands with one knee down like this, so we have quite a bit of stability. And then you're going to be looking sort of 45 and rowing. Breathing in, breathing out. So you want to make sure that these hips are pointing to the opposite wall. We don't want to be jutting out our hip like this or rolling over. And if you feel competent here, but you'd like to try it a little bit more, you can stagger the legs, top leg in front of the bottom leg, and same concept, rowing, or stacking, or forearm, either down on the ground or on a wedge, making sure that shoulder, elbow are in line, thinking about getting that shoulder in the back pocket so that you are activating your mid and lower traps, and your thoracic spine is nice and straight. You're using your scapulars to engage your obliques and your lats and not your upper traps. So I'll just do it on the floor as well. Again, same thing. You can start with a knee or staggered or stacked feet. Same concept. You just don't have as much clearance when you're down on your forearms as you do when you're up on your wrists, but if you're very sensitive with your wrists, then you would want to do forearm row. And then the last one is a tripod press. So this one involves your glutes, your hip flexors, your quads, and shoulder stability because you're pressing it overhead. So you have a bell in between your legs. You're going to grab it by the handle underneath, and then with the opposite hand you're going to have the fingers pointing away from you and not too far apart, far away from your body, more closer to your backside so that you can get some leverage. And then you're going to make sure that your knees don't cave in, so you might want to use a band around your thighs. I'll show that afterwards. You're going to curl the bell and rack it under the chin, pressing up and down. So as the hips, the booty sort of basically, your glutes are nice and tight, and they propel the hips up, and you're pressing overhead, watching the bell and lowering down. We'll do it on the other side. And for people that feel like their knees are going to cave, they would be wise to use a band just so that you can have a better alignment. So again, grabbing the handle and pressing out, placing the bell down carefully. There. So those are the demonstrations of the 4 exercises: the half kneeling windmill, seated V-leg, oblique and lat overhead press and slide, the side plank row, and the tripod press. We'll start the workout now, and I'll try and use the different props as well. And again, you can use hand weight if you want, if you don't have a kettlebell, or no weight at all. Just use your body weight. That's could be very well where you're at, and I recommend you stay there if you don't feel confident about having a weight overhead especially. So, half kneeling, windmill. We're going to do 5 each side, again having your knee and your ankle in line, nice wide stance, so that you can kick the hip out and give you that room to move, so that you can aim for the floor or a block, whatever you'd like. So cleaning the bell, same arm that's up overhead, knees bent, breathing in to lower, kicking the hip out, breathing out to come up. 2, 3, watching the bell at all times. 4, corkscrewing the shoulder in and out. Last one. 5, carefully bringing it down to the mat and switching sides. So here, try and get a better angle. So cleaning the bell, pressing it overhead, kick the hip out, lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lowering down. Now we're doing our seated V. So I'm going to grab a lighter weight for that one. That is very much shoulder mobility and strength, and stability, your thoracic spine mobility, and again, hamstrings might be tight, just bend the knees if you'd like. So I'm going to press it up on the left arm first, always watching it, pack that shoulder down, and then leaning over or sliding. Sliding down, bringing yourself back to seated, watching the bell at all times. So you're internally rotating the shoulder to lower, externally rotating the shoulder to come up, and one more. Bring it back down, switch sides, curl the bell, up, press, and 1. Everything is nice and tight. 2, core is pulled in, that belly button's pulled in, lowering. 3, breathing in to lower, breathing out to come up. 4, 1 more. Keeping both of your sit bones on the mat at all times. Side plank row. Okay, great. So, again, 5 on each side. I'm going to try doing it with my on my hand instead of my forearm, but you're more than welcome to do it on the forearm. And I'm going to try doing it, with my feet staggered. So always making sure that, actually I'll do it on this side here first so you can see. You want to make sure that you've got that alignment proper with your wrist, elbow, shoulder, so you can engage the scapular and pull that shoulder down in the back pocket. Looking straight ahead, rowing, rib cage and shoulder is 1 unit. 3, 4, 5. Switching sides. Carefully set yourself up first. that shoulder down. Squeeze the thighs together. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, last exercise, tripod press. Here, just move that out of the way. So, making sure before you start, your core is pulled in, your glutes are tight. You're going to grab the bell, curl it up, rack it under the chin, other hand fingers away from you, and get some leverage, pressing up. 2, breathing out at the top. 3, 4, 5. Carefully placing it down, switching sides, curling it up, putting the hand down, and 1. Use those hips. 2, and booty. 3, to press it up. 4, that good momentum there that you have. 5. Placing it down carefully. All right, that's round 1. Good. So I do have a video that shows some good tutorial on sort of using props like the wedge and the block, etc. for core-based exercises if you feel that you need a little bit of assistance. You can't get as low, so you give yourself a target like a block or a wedge, which are in my video library. So we're going to start again from the top, half kneeling windmill. Making sure you have a nice wide stance and your knee and ankle are in line. You're going to press the bell overhead with the same knee that's out. Okay, so cleaning it up, watching the bell at all times. Breathing in to lower, breathing out to come up. Internally rotate that shoulder to lower. 3, externally rotate it to come up, nice and tall. And down. Switching sides. You definitely need a lot of padding under the knee. All right. Clean it up. Press. Watching the bell. Breathing in to lower. 2. Glutes are tight. 3. Kind of maybe squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. 4, imagine that. Just engage them. 5, keep yourself nice and stable. Seated V. Ah, yes. Good. Okay, so just going to place this one over here. Use my 10K. Don't think I want to try 12 kilo for this one. So, curling it up, press, and then either just aiming your forearm to the floor or sliding it down the leg. Breathing in. That's 2. Breathing out to come up. That's 3. Corkscrew the shoulder in and out. That's 4. 1 more. Watching the bell at all times. That's 5. Again, bend those knees. Your hamstrings are quite tight. Okay, curling it up. Press and aiming for my heel. Keeping both sit bones down on the floor. 3. Using those obliques and lats to pull you up and control your flow down, and that's 5. It's these muscles here that you want to be working as you lower and as you pull yourself up. Side plank row. All right. Let's do this. Yeah, I'll do it on this end this time. Just a different view. So set yourself up first. Bring that bell close. Set yourself up with a wrist, elbow, shoulder in line. Stagger the feet or stack them. If you're stacking, squeeze those thighs together. Glutes are tight, core's pulled in. And 1 unit. Row. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'll just show you the back side of this exercise. Making sure you have a nice strong column from your wrist to your shoulder. Squeeze the thighs together, glutes are tight. Looking straight ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try not to let the bell clunk down. Control it as it lowers as well. Tripod press. 5 again on each side. So nice wide seated position. Grab your bell, curl it. Other hand, fingers pointing away from you. Press up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Curl it down carefully. Reset. Curl the bell. Get your other hand behind you. Use your glutes and your core, your quads as leverage, right? Momentum to press the bell overhead. 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Good stuff. Grab a drink. And anytime that you feel you need a break, just press pause on the video. This is not an interval timed workout. You have all the time that you need to do this carefully and solely with control, especially anything overhead with a weight. You can really easily hurt your rotator cuff. Oh, especially if you feel it's wavering around. All right, so we're going to do one more round of this set of 4 exercises, 5 each side, starting with your half kneeling windmill. So same knee that's bent with your knee over your ankle, nice wide stance. That clean the bell up with that same arm, pressing overhead, and then hip hinge, breathing into lower. Get the forearm to the floor if you can. If not, just aim for a block or just get your fingers touching the floor. 2, watching the bell at all times. 3, kick that hip out. 4, last one on this side. Lower down with control. Switch sides. Making sure you've got a nice alignment with your knee and ankle. You want 90 degrees. And then you're going to clean the bell up. Press it up overhead, watching the bell. Breathing in to lower, corkscrew that shoulder in. Breathing out to come up. Kick the hip out, breathing in. Breathing out. Keep going. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out. That's 3. 2 more. Always watching the bell. Last one. Lower down with control. All right. Aha! Seated V-leg. Let's do this. So, grab the bell, and each exercise I kind of switch sides to. So I ended on my left hand or arm on the last exercise there with the windmill, so I'm going to start with my right. So I'm going to press up, watching the bell. My left is going to slide down, keeping both seat bones there on the floor. Breathing in to lower, corkscrew that shoulder in. Breathing out to come up. One more here. Good. It's 3. Last 2. Last 1. There. Doing the left and right, you can definitely notice some strengths and weaknesses. I know definitely my right is still very weak compared to my left, just due to an illness I had this summer, still recovering. And boy, do I ever notice the difference, even in my thoracic spine mobility on that right side. Whew. It's quite limited still. 3, lowering down with control, breathing out, coming up, corkscrew shoulder in, corkscrew shoulder out. One more. Nice tight core, belly button sucked in and down. Good. Now we're doing our side plank row. I'll do it from over here this time. All right, so set yourself up. Bell's nice and close. Wrist, elbow, shoulder in line. You can start with staggered if you want, or stacked, making sure that your shoulder's over your wrist. Squeeze the thighs together here. Glutes tight. Looking at the wall. 2, 3, 4, 5. Making sure you have that rib-shoulder connection working together as one unit. Because you don't want to put too much pressure on your upper traps. You want your mid and lower traps, your lats, your obliques to be doing all the work. Your shoulder is just your stabilizer. You want all those big muscles actually doing the work. Stacking the feet, sliding that shoulder down its back pocket. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. And tricep. Okay. Yay. All right. So set yourself up. The kettlebell's in between your legs, and you're going to grab it underneath the handle, curl it up. Other hand, fingers pointing away. Use your glutes, your quads, your hammies, hips to press the hips and the bum up and use that momentum. 2, 3, 4. Punch it up. 5. Switching sides, making sure that when you come back down, you rack the bell at all times, and then, okay, then pressing it up, punching it up. So, curl the bell, racked, other hand, fingers pointing away. 1, 2. Bum is just pressing on the floor slightly. 3, for a brief moment. 4, and 5. Okay, excellent. So thank you for joining me today. Actually, Bob's here too. Does he want to do his hand thing? Just to prove Oh, this foot now, isn't that lovely? So I appreciate everybody joining us, and if you feel to make any comments about any of the exercises, anything like that, and join me again soon. Thank you very much.